Hi folks, special greetings to you from the Snow City inside Canada. Today, I want us to have a friendly discussion on something that I have been seeing over some couple of weeks or months in terms of applying for our masters, our PhD, or into our colleges in Canada. I have ever stated that to be able to gain admission in any of the levels I have mentioned, there are certain relevance documents that will do the talking for you. And one of these documents that will be doing the talking for you is what we normally refer to as curriculum vitae or CV if you are watching from Ghana. And mostly CVs, they are just a detailed document that provides an extensive overview of your academic and professional history. So this academic and professional history includes your educational credentials, your experiences, your skills, your research background, the publications, your hobbies, and what have you. Now, as it is a detailed document that provides these overviews, it's mostly ranges between 2 to 3 pages. So if you are presenting your CV to somebody, mostly in Ghana, you see not less than 2 pages. I've seen people having 3 or 4 pages. Now, this is what we are used to in Ghana. So you are presenting your CV to somebody, you do all these sort of things and you present it. Now, there is a saying that if you go to Rome, you need to do what Romans do. Even though you are in Ghana and you are applying to school in US, you are applying to schools in Canada, you must behave as if you live in US. You must behave as if you live in Canada. Canadian institutions, it's good to know that the discussion we are having is based on education. So the CV or the curriculum vitae we'll be talking about is based on school, academic perspective. So you need to behave as if you are based in US or you are based in Canada. So the CV that we refer to in Ghana is not the same thing that is referred to in Canada. In Canada, you will be asked to provide your resume. Now, the resume in this perspective is just short, concise, and summarized document that highlights your education, work experience, and achievement that are relevant to the academic position or to the academic portfolio you are applying to. You see that? So it is positions and what skills that are relevant to these areas that you are applying to. So the document that you'll be presenting to the Canadian institution, the university for your master's, your PhD, or your college, it should be a concise one. And concise simply means brief, summarize, and what a detailed document. So the CV that you use in Ghana should not be the same resume that you'll be presenting. If you are presenting a resume for work experience, for work application, it has its own thematic areas that you need to consider. If you are presenting a resume for school application, it also has certain important aspects that you need to look at. So in terms of school application, it should highlight your educational credential, your experiences, your skills, your researches, your publications that are only relevant, that are only important to the master's or to the PhD area you are going to or you are applying to. Now, your resume should highlight certain important areas. Number one, you need to summarize your educational or your educational credentials. Now, let's assume that you are somebody who has completed your bachelor's degree in the University of Education, Winneba. So you have had your bachelor's degree, maybe you have had your HND, and you have had your diploma. And you want to apply to maybe MSc Mathematics. You get that? Now, and you have also completed your senior high school education. Ask yourself the MSc program you want to apply to. What educational credentials are important to the program you want to apply to? Do you need to consider your senior high school education? Probably no, unless of course it has some form of importance to the MSc program you are going to apply to. Your college program, that will definitely be important. You see, your HND, it's definitely going to be important. Then your bachelor's degree. So you realize that the three credentials I've mentioned, they are definitely very important to what you are going to study. Why are we saying your SHS credentials may not be necessary? Maybe in SHS you have studied general arts, you have studied maybe business, you have studied home economics. How does these various programs that I have mentioned contribute to the success of your MSc program? Possibly no. But if you have studied maybe general science, you've done elective mathematics, you have done physics, you have done chemistry, you have done biology, in this regard, we can say that it has some form of relevance to the MSc Mathematics program you are going to study. So you first need to consider that. Now, you also need to give summary of your teaching and research experiences. So if you are a teacher, you've taught some subjects and you've been able to acquire some experiences in this regard, you need to also consider that. Now, your publications, the articles that you have published or you have done some presentation, this will definitely be important to the MSc program you are applying to, because it's MSc thesis or the project one has to do with you demonstrating maybe your teaching skills. You may be appointed or you may be given a scholarship to be a teaching assistant. You may be given a scholarship to be a research assistant. So it means that your teaching through your research experiences that you have had in Ghana will definitely going to be very relevant to the program you are coming to study. Then maybe you have had some awards. Then you need to also include that. Now, let's move on. So we are now going to talk about the CV. The first thing that's supposed to be seen on top of your CV, there are three important things that should be on top of your CV. The first one should be your name. Your name should be on top of your CV. Then the second one should be your address. Maybe your address is, maybe I've seen Emmanuel Govina, you live in Accra. Maybe you work with a particular institution. So once your name comes first, then your address, maybe Church of Pentecost something something, Boss 99 something something, Accra. The next thing that's supposed to come is your email. Then you bring your email under that. Now, I've ever said that your email should not just be any alphabet or just names that you put together. Everybody should try to have at least one official email. Your official email should be email that will contain your name, your email that, not just name, it should consider your surname, it should involve your surname, your Christian name, or possibly your middle name. This is an official email, not an email that will have nicknames and those things. If you have already used your first, second, and your middle name to have an email that you are unable to retrieve, you can just maybe use two of the names with any alphabet, maybe any numerals, put this together nicely and put it on your resume. Now, the next thing has to do with your research interest. So mostly after your name, your address, your email, we draw some line. The next thing that you need to have is what? Your research interest. The research interest simply talks about the area of that particular program you want to study in that particular university. So you bring your research this in interest. So maybe your research interests are, maybe you want to study algebra, you want to study discrete mathematics, you want to study maybe pure mathematics. You see, in some of the schools, they'll put this as areas of specialization. Then you put that. You put it at the top. So in some of the schools, they blend the three, maybe pure mathematics, algebra, and maybe discrete mathematics. Some of the schools will try to blend this thing. They'll blend it in a way that the areas of specialization will be more. So if you have realized that based on the areas of specialization in the school, you are interested in 1, 2, or 3 areas, then you bring those areas there. Then the next thing you want to see should be what? Your professional summary. Now, the professional summary should highlight your skills, your experiences, should also highlight what defines you, or the relevant achievement, the relevant intangible achievement that you have had that are relevant to the program or to the background you want to study. And the professional summary or the professional profile is very, very, very important. This gives assurance to the admission committee. If you are sending a cold email to a professor, it gives an assurance to the professor that this individual has actually have the necessary skills that are relevant to the academic position that you are applying to. So let's talk about somebody who has MS, maybe BSc Mathematics from University of Education, Winneba, and the person wants to study MSc Mathematics. What are some relevant skills that will prepare this particular applicant for the position you are applying to? We are considering mathematics. So maybe, because based on what I've seen, senior high school, maybe diploma level or HND, your bachelor's level, you're surely going to study algebra. So if you have a knowledge about algebra, you're definitely going to study about statistics. So you need to have knowledge about statistics. You study about calculus. So you need to have knowledge about calculus. Have you seen it? Now, then other ones. So you should have relevant skills in this area. So your professional summary should talk about the skills that you have. Then you connect the skill to the particular program you are applying to, because these skills will help you to be able to study this program properly, to be able to understand the concept that you are going to study. Then you connect this thing to your future aspirations. You see, so you can say that you are aspiring mathematician with a strong foundation in algebra, calculus, and statistics, and you seek admission to study MSc Mathematics in York University. You see that? Then you can say that you are eager to deepen your expertise in mathematics modeling. Yeah, you can say mathematics modeling to maybe contribute to research expertise, to contribute to researching in the department. And this will help you to be able to pursue a career in maybe data science. So you talk about your skills, the skills that you have. You've also spoken about what the area you want to study. You want to study on mathematics modeling, you see, to be able to understand how to contribute to researches in the department. So it means that the professor will already see that the skills you are having, what you want to come and study, it's one going to benefit that department, because your program may be a research-based one. It's going to help the department as well as prepare you to pursue your career in what? Data science. This will do you a lot of good. So irrespective of the program or whatever program you are going to study, you need to first sit down and think through the background skills that will help you to do that. Then after this, then you go to your educational background. So let's assume that this person, or you are somebody who has your master's already, you want to study your PhD. So the first educational credential that will come is your master's. So maybe master's in English language from University of Cape Coast. See, then you state the year that you have completed that program, not the duration, not when you start and when you end. Just state when you have graduated. Then after that, you can bring your thesis. That is the research topic that you've this research on when you were pursuing your master's program. So you bring your thesis topic there. Then you can even indicate the name of your professor. Have you seen it? Now, you need to know that if you have already had your PhD before you want to come and do a short program in Canada, you should know that when it is PhD, you need to indicate your dissertation. Then if it's master's, you talk about your thesis. BSc, you talk about what? Thesis. So you have indicated your thesis topic for, or you have indicated your thesis for the MA, this in the MA English language you study from University of Cape Coast. You've indicated your supervisor. Then you go to the next one, which will be maybe you have BA English language from the same university. You indicate your thesis, you indicate your supervisor. Then if you have a diploma, you can bring your diploma. The rest may not be relevant, depending on the area you are going to apply to. So these are three things. Now, have you seen the way I've done the thing? Because sometimes, especially if you are sending a cold email, the professor may not request, or you don't have to add your transcript. So especially for your BSc, that is your degree, and sometimes your master's, you can indicate your CGPA. You see, so maybe BSc Mathematics, University of Cape Coast, August 2021, then you put into brackets your CGPA, you put your CGPA there. Then it gives some form of confidence to the if the admission committee that this is actually a student who is well positioned to come and study. Now, after you are done with this, with your educational credentials, then you go to your research experiences. Maybe you've had a lot of researches. Then you bring the various researches that you have conducted. The researches should come after your educational credentials. Then you bring your researches that you have done. Maybe you are a science person, chemistry person, mathematics person that did a lot of researches. Then you bring your researches, experiences there, stating the various researches that you have done, what you have worked on, the date. If it's a teamwork, you state all that. Then after that, you bring your publications. Bring your publications there. Now, after your publication, then you can talk about what? Your work experiences. If you have had some work experiences, you bring the work experiences. The way I have stated this thing may not be a hard and fast rule for all this in academic resume that you'll be presenting. For example, if you are someone who wants to apply for your MBA, for MBA, one of the key requirements is that you need to have a work experience for at least 5 years. So for MBA, after you are done with your educational credentials, I would advise you to bring your work experiences. Then after your work experiences, then your researches or your publications that you have done. Now, people who want to study, I know there is someone on this page who wants to come and study a master's in social work. Social work also requires that the applicant should have some some form of work experiences. Then you need to do that as well. Now, you realize that this will position your CV in a nice way. This will position your academic resume in a nice way. Then you present it, because the admission committee may not have time to glance through everything. They are just interested in seeing certain key things. So that is why we are saying that it should be a concise detail, and it should only be relevant to the position you are applying for. Now, then you end it there. You see, then you bring your publications and all those things. Now, your hobbies or your interests. I've seen people who are well rooted in academia. They still put listening to music and a lot of things. No, you want to be a research assistant. You want to be a teaching assistant, and you want people to give you scholarship. What has listening to music got to do with the work you are coming to do? So your skills or your hobby should be something that will help the department you are going to. So you can actually talk about some skills that are transferable. You can talk about your leadership skills. If you are a TA, you need to have these leadership skills to be able to guide the undergraduate students you may be teaching. So you can talk about that. You can talk about your teamwork, because you're going to work as a team, you with your supervisor and maybe other colleagues also. So you need to have that teamwork. Now, you are going to write a lot. Your thesis, you'll be presenting your assignment and all those. So you need to have writing and literature skills. So you can put that. Then you talk about your research skills. You put that in there. You see, now these are certain things that you can put as your hobbies or your soft skills, not some of those dancing, listening to music, eating banku and all those things. Not that one. Now, there are things that we do in there are things that we do in Ghana that they may pardon us, but such things are not allowed if you are considering moving to the international level. Number one, I see people put their pictures or their photos on their CVs. Unacceptable. You can't do that. And those who have been using, how will I even say, some people use some apps to prepare their CVs. You don't have to do that. So your photo is not needed. I see some people putting their date of birth on the resume. It's not needed. I see people putting their marital status on the resume. It's also not needed. I see people putting their religious denominations on the CV. It's not needed. I see people put certain skills, certain positions that they have held that are not relevant to the position they are applying to. It's not needed. You see, now, I also see people put their senior high schools. I've spoken about that. I've spoken about people putting their certain hobbies on the CV or the resume. It's also not needed. Now, the last one I want to talk about is I see people put their references. 4 references, professor, doctor. No, that is also not necessary. At the bottom, the last thing you need to put on your resume is references. Then you write available upon request. Available upon request. If you are applying to that position for that MSc program, already the university will require you to provide your references, and you input their email, their names, their position, the department they work, and the university is going to send an email to them already. So they are going to give references on your behalf. They are going to give recommendation on your behalf. So you don't have to put that on the CV to increase your pages. If you're applying to a college program, there are certain colleges that I've seen, they place a lot of emphasis on the resume you present. Even though in colleges, there is nothing like giving recommendation, don't put the references there. Just indicate that it's available upon request. If the college or whatsoever needs your your referees to give them some form of information. They'll send you an email. Then you do it that way. Then bingo, you are good to go. You get that? Let me see if there are any questions. Let me try to. Okay. Thank you, John Kelly. Hey, Philly Coty, I see you. Maurice. Yes, what if they required, Maurice, what if they required just 2 pages? Yes, resumes are just supposed to be 2 pages. So you bring your name or your address, your profile, your education, your publication, your experiences. This will be on 2 pages. Then you bring your researches and all those things. This will be on 2 pages. How can you make it concise and accurate? Yeah, Maurice, that is what I have spoken about. Thank you, my good brother, Nat. So that is it. You make it concise. 2 pages enough. Concise, brief, detailed. So you need to only highlight your key experiences. You need to just highlight your key credentials. You need to highlight your key professional histories that are relevant to that MSc, that PhD position or that PhD admission you want. That is it. They don't want you to bring a lot of unnecessary information. Make it simple and brief that way. You see? So, folks, that is it. Enjoy the rest of your evening. So, the resume we've spoken about is purposely for academia. Next time I'll have time, we'll talk about how to prepare your resume for job application. So that is that. If you think that the content I've shared with you is so engaging, why not share it to bless somebody? Somebody will be submitting his or her resume today or tomorrow, and the person is going to commit a lot of blunder, a lot of mistakes. That may make it impossible for the person to receive admission. Share it to bless that someone. Anything is possible. For all you know, you just try and God will give you a breakthrough. Nat is a good friend, a teacher who is now a pastor trainee. So he's here, so I need to speak Bible. You get the thing? Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.